Running commentary. We are exploring listening to albums. It is a lost art form. We took an hour out of our day. We switched off the phones. We switched off the computers. We did not answer the door. We sat down and we listened to the artist's vision and concept. Everything But the Girl, Temperamental. Temperamental was the 10th and final album to date by Ben Watt and Tracy Thorn. Ben Watt was the producer on this record. The track listing is 5 Fathoms, Wanna Love More, which got to number 27. 2, Low Tide of the Night, which has this infectious sax hook. Blame, which is a drum and bass upfront thing. It was released as a single, but didn't chart. Hatfield 1980. Hate Going Through the Underpass. 5, Temperamental, reached number 72. Compression, which is an instrumental track essentially. Downhill Racer, Lazarus only did it once. Lullaby of Clubland didn't chart. It's Packed at 2 a.m. I've Got No Coat. No Difference. I love the mood on this track. The Future of the Future, Stay Gold, featuring Deep Dish, which reached number 31. Beyond insanity. Absolutely amazing. I got to tell you that this is a start to finish kind of album. It's something that the songs kind of, the songs don't really have, I feel, that much that differentiates them, so they work as an album. This is an album piece, and I think it's why these songs didn't succeed as well as, say, something like Missing or Wrong or The Walking Wounded, where the band, I felt, really were coming out with singles concepts. I don't think at this point they really cared that much. I think that there's a lot of heart and soul to what they're doing, but I don't think they were really concerned too much about what the audience thought about it. Let's face it, it took EBTG a long time to really hit their stride commercially. One thing you can say about them is that they were always hip and cool. So by the time this album came out, the band were enjoying a respect for their staying power and commitment to their craft. The album was released on the 27th of September 1999. I remember buying my copy at the Virgin Records in Union Square when it was still there. Looking through the reviews of the album, it seems NME were less than thrilled with Ben and Tracy's swan song, awarding it a paltry 1 out of 10. Everything But the Girl began in the northern town of Hull, UK in 1982. Did you know Tracy and Ben were married? Nor did I. Their name is taken from a furniture store on Beverley Road in Hull. One can only imagine it's a reconfiguration of everything but the kitchen sink, which seemingly Turners did sell. Everything But the Girl had guested on the Style Council's Café Bleu album. They scored big with their cover of Rod Stewart's I Don't Want to Talk About It in 1988. It got to number 3 as a single. Their cover of Love is Strange, which I always think of as an Everly Brothers hit, was a vague memory from 1992. Ben had almost died from an autoimmune disease called Churro-Strauss syndrome in 1992, and I watched an interview talking about the fact that there was this disease that Ben Watt had, where the body starts attacking itself, and it was eating up his small intestine. It was actually, he was really very close to death. So I think it's really interesting that this had happened. And I will say that in 1993, they continued releasing EPs after Ben's sickness, one of which contained Karen Ramirez's subsequent hit from the top 10, Looking for Love. Things changed exponentially with Todd Terry's remix of Missing, which went on to become a worldwide hit. Missing had been on the album Amplified Heart, where the band had begun to really explore that kind of more dancey style that really cemented their success. Prior to that, they'd been very much a kind of jazz folk thing. which for the fans of that style, really their fans were really committed to that style of music. And they were under the same kind of umbrella as Sade and Matt Bianco, that kind of sort of cocktail jazz kind of group. So I think in a lot of cases, the original fan base may have felt a little bit alienated or left out from this material, which started to go into this very sort of hip dance kind of direction, particularly with Tracy Thorn's involvement on Massive Attack's Protection, which was, a really big and respected dance group. Massive Attack were this group that had so much respect in the dance community, and here's Tracy Thorn appearing as a vocalist on a Massive Attack record and doing her own thing with Everything But the Girl. It's just interesting. You can never tell how somebody's career is necessarily going to work out. It was an out-of-contract opening that allowed the band to capitalize on their good fortune with this album's predecessor, Walking Wounded. You may wonder why I'm going into detail about Everything But the Girl's journey, and that is because I love the fact that after years of trying, they finally received the attention for their music and tenacity. It gives hope to all of us. Temperamental as an album reached number 16 on the UK album charts. Watching some footage and reading quotes from the band gives fascinating insight into Tracy Thorn's reluctance to be the lead singer. She actually hid in a wardrobe while singing for an audition for one band. Ben Watt recalls how all of a sudden we were playing to 5,000 people in every night, and we just didn't want to be that big. They're a very shy, kind of insular group. Add to the fact that they're a married couple, I guess it kind of must have been kind of hard being in the spotlight in that way. So it appears the seeming reserve of the band in the early years was indeed deliberate. Tracy Thorn released a memoir called Bedsit Disco Queen, which I think is really cool. What I like about this album is that it handles all aspects of the night out. The dance floor, the green room, the after hours, the walk home. Ben is listed as wearing many hats on this album. Bass, keyboards, guitars, strings, scratches, beats, sound editing and programming. The label for the record was Atlantic in the US and Virgin Records in Europe. On listening to the album and kind of following through, it was an interesting experience going back to this album. I did buy it. And upon reviewing it again for Running Commentary album reviews, the final mark for the album, Everything But the Girl, Temperamental, 75%.